Okay, today we are getting into something huge, something that affects millions of us here in Malaysia. Why does buying a home feel less like a plan and more like an impossible dream, especially if you're part of the middle class? Let's break it down.
Seriously, just think about that word for a second. Home. For most of us, it's not just four walls and a roof. It's security. It's a foundation for your family. It's probably the biggest, most important investment you'll ever make. It's supposed to be a core part of the Malaysian dream.
But what happens when that dream starts to feel out of reach? When the first thing that comes to mind when you think of home isn't security, but a price tag you just can't hit? Well, that's the tough reality for a massive part of our country right now.
To really get to the bottom of this crisis, we first have to be super clear about who we're talking about. Let's zero in on the group right in the middle of this whole struggle.
Meet the M40. It stands for the middle 40%. Now, according to the Kazanada Research Institute, these are families whose total household income is somewhere between roughly 4,300 and 9,600 ringgit a month. Think about it. These are our nurses, our teachers, our young professionals, basically the engine of our economy, and they're the ones getting squeezed the most.
And this leads us to a really important idea called the middle income trap. This isn't just about houses being expensive, it's about being stuck in a system where there are no good options left.
It's kind of like being stuck in an elevator between two floors. See, on one side, the M40 earned too much money to qualify for the government's low-cost housing programs. But on the other side, they don't earn nearly enough to actually afford the houses that are supposed to be built for them, these so-called affordable homes. They're literally trapped in the middle.
So what does affordable actually mean anyway? Well, there's a global standard for this. The golden rule, used by big organizations like the World Bank, is pretty simple. An affordable house shouldn't cost more than 3 times your entire household's annual income. Sounds reasonable, right?
Well, prepare for a reality check. Here in Malaysia, the median house price isn't 3 times the median income, it's 5 times. And that doesn't just mean it's a bit pricey. That 5.0 score puts us in a category that international standards officially call seriously unaffordable.
So how in the world did we end up here? Well, if you look at the last decade, it becomes pretty clear. While household incomes for the M40 have been slowly, and I mean slowly, creeping up, house prices have just skyrocketed. That gap between what we earn and what a house costs is becoming a chasm.
If this breakdown is giving you that aha moment and a clearer picture of what's going on, do me a quick favor and hit that like button and subscribe. We break down Malaysia's biggest issues like this all the time, so you'll always stay ahead of the curve.
Okay, so let's move beyond the spreadsheets and the economic terms. What does this crisis actually feel like in the real world? Well, for starters, it means the very space we call home is physically getting smaller.
It's a total paradox, isn't it? Our cities, like Kuala Lumpur, are sprawling outwards and upwards with new buildings popping up everywhere. But at the same time, our own personal living spaces, they're doing the complete opposite. They're shrinking.
And the numbers back this up. Check this out. Between 2010 and 2020, the average Malaysian family actually got a bit smaller, going from 4.3 people down to 3.8. But in that same time, the average size of a brand new house also got smaller. So not only do we have fewer people in our homes, we have even less space for them.
So why are we putting up with smaller homes? This quote from a research paper gives us a clue. It points to a really interesting shift, especially with younger buyers. It seems the lifestyle outside the front door, the fancy gym, the infinity pool, the great view, is becoming a bigger deal than the actual square footage inside. And developers have noticed, they're not just selling an apartment, they're selling a lifestyle package.
Now, of course, the government isn't just sitting back and watching this happen. They've launched a bunch of different schemes to try and help. But the real question is, are they actually moving the needle?
I'm sure you've heard of some of these, right? PR1MA, Rumah Whip, PPAM, the My First Home scheme. These are the big ones. They cover a whole range of things, from building public housing projects to helping with financing, all designed to give first-time homebuyers a leg up.
But here's what the very people these programs are meant for have to say. A study from UITM is pretty revealing. A whopping 79% of M40 folks surveyed said these government efforts need improvement. Only about 14% said they were satisfactory. That's a massive gap between the intention behind the policy and the actual impact on the ground.
So, if what we're doing now isn't quite working, then what's the answer? What do everyday M40 Malaysians think would actually start to fix this mess?
Well, that same study asked people for solutions, and the answers were really clear. First and foremost, a majority said they want more direct government action, things like actually controlling house prices and finding ways to lower costs for developers. Second, they pointed the finger at developers, saying they need to focus on building more homes that are genuinely affordable, not just another luxury high-rise. And third, people want more creative options from banks, like more rent-to-own schemes.
But maybe the biggest idea to come out of all this research is a structural one. Many experts and regular citizens believe Malaysia needs one single, powerful national body to plan and manage all affordable housing. Kind of like Singapore's super successful Housing Development Board, the HDB. The thinking is, let's have one central authority whose only job is to get this right.
We've definitely covered a lot of ground here. If you value this kind of clear, no-nonsense breakdown, join the thousands of others who want clarity, not confusion. Go ahead and tap that like button, hit subscribe, and let's keep making sense of these big Malaysian issues together.
At the end of the day, here's what it all boils down to. This housing crisis isn't a simple problem with a single bad guy. It's more like a really complex puzzle. You've got the government, developers, banks, and of course, us, the buyers. Each piece has its own motivations and its own pressures.
And that really leaves us with the big question to chew on. Who's responsible for solving this puzzle? Is it all on the government to set the rules? Is it up to developers to build more responsibly? Or do buyers need to adjust what they expect from a first home? Or, and this is probably closer to the truth, is it a shared problem that everyone needs to work on together?
What do you think? Let us know down in the comments. Thanks for tuning in for this explainer.